Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday. Doing what? Talking a little real estate, having fun. Always excited to be with you guys. As you know, it's fast pacing. It's almost summer. It's kind of hard to believe. The weather is, it doesn't feel like summer, does it? Cool. I think it was like 80 the other day. Pretty nice days. Evenings even chilly, right? Is that weird? But all of a sudden, July will be here before you know it, and it's going to come right around the corner, and it's, 100 degrees. So welcome to East Tennessee weather, right? Hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're tuning in for the first time, you might say, hey, who's that guy on the radio? Well, my name is Ryan Coleman, owner, founder of Hometown Realty. And we do this little show on the weekends called Real Estate with Ryan, where we like to keep you up to date with all the real estate information in your local market. Of course, if you're catching us on the radio, you can watch us, of course, all the social media channels. We've got Facebook, YouTube, some of our big platforms there, but we're on Twitter, Instagram. Of course, you can listen to us on our podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, and Google. Now, if you're on the radio, always check us out on News Talk 98.7 at 1 o'clock, Talk Radio 92.3 FM at 11. And then, of course, if you're on the apps, we can always be streaming there. You can take us to go. You say, Ryan, you can put me in your pocket, listen to a little ball game. I want to see what's going on in the market because I can tell you the real estate market's got a lot going on. Feds just came out the other day that the interest rates are going to leave unchanged. There's a lot of built-in market interest rates as far as already in pricing. So don't expect a whole lot of price changes, at least for the next 30 to 45 days. That's kind of a good sign. They've had enough increases. The rates were about 0.25 basis each time they're making an adjustment. Last year, they were 0.75 basis points. And of course, the Fed rate and what they're doing is a little bit different, but the lenders, right, they're building in that pricing. So when you go apply for your new home loan, you ask them what the interest rate is, whether it's a 30-year or 15-year, those prices are different. And so yesterday's meeting of the Fed, I think, helps the real estate market in the summer here in East Tennessee. As we approach the summer market, we know it's the busiest time of the year. And why is that? Because the kiddos, man. The kiddos, I was telling somebody yesterday, I had a conversation with them in Maryville, thinking about putting their home on the market, and we started kind of going back and forth on some ideas. And I said, the next 60 days is just critical, right? It's the busiest time in the year for us because it's where the kiddos, if we have so many people that are relocating across the country, and then the local guys and gals, right, moving. And so if they've got kiddos, we need to get them in the right school districts, or maybe we're changing school districts, right? And so we want to make sure that we have a new address and we've got all that established before the school year starts. Kind of hard to believe. I feel like we just got out of school. My kiddos are on break. You got to take them away from the iPads a little bit. You guys know how that is, right? But it's summer break, and before we know it, we'll be right back in school. And so let's talk about this show is going to be a good show for you. During the week, there's been a lot of closings, a lot of new listings taken, and so much going on. But I said, what's some important things? We had a closing that got delayed a little bit, and great friends had to sell it like twice. And before you know it, it's just Murphy's Law. We get ready to go to closing, and the lender wanted something else. And that something else, we had to scramble, not only get repairs and get something else, and I'll go into that, what that was. But we had to do a lot of moving parts to get them to close tomorrow on time. And so I said, well, hey, what's some important things that if you guys are thinking about selling this summer or the rest of the year, you need to know? That's whether you're selling your condo. We're going to talk about that. Selling vacant land. We're going to have you covered about that. Selling your luxury property. We specialize in that. We're going to talk about that as well. And then it had a manufactured home. Those are tricky. This particular property. It was a referral, good friend of ours, actually selling their mother's property. Didn't know much about it. It was an estate deal and got a little tricky, and we helped him out. So I wanted to make sure that we covered that. Actually, April wanted to make sure we covered that as well. And so when you guys are selling, that we don't miss these mistakes when putting your property on the market. Got a lot of activity. I want to start with some congrats, as we always start our show. New listings on the market in Kodak, 3228 Bent Road, custom built. It's the builder's own home. He's selling with a custom garage, 6-car garage, Beautiful patio, screened-in area, a lot of customs throughout. You want to make sure we check that out. Lot 123 on Long Rifle Road in the Homestead subdivision. Beautiful lot. Views in the back overlook the Smokies. Make sure you check that out. New listing in Pigeon Forge, 602 Only Way. Beautiful custom home, 2,900 square feet. Great for that family or investment. So you got an investment opportunity. Commercial listing out on Sevierville and Douglas Dam Road. Easily a business opportunity, convenience. Got 2 single family houses on there. So you've got an opportunity there to even keep cash flow in case you want to do a land bank or do a 1031 this year in case you're not sure what you want to do with the funds from another sale. 159 Camp Galilee Road, good listing there. And then, of course, we've got a coming soon new listing in 3005 Fountain Park Boulevard. Very popular. We just sold one over there in Kenilworth, and this is a new one that's on the market. It's a 3-bedroom. It's over 2,000 square feet, and it's got a garage and rear access. So that's kind of neat. Beautiful landscaping. Make sure you check that out. Congrats. Pending. 1317 Americana Drive under contract. Closed 806 Beanstalk Road in Gatlinburg. Congrats. Talked about Kenilworth closing. Crooked Pine Lane in Knoxville. Congrats on that closing there. And I think that's all we got right this second. You can see, kind of getting busy. It's that time of the year. And as we always start this show, if you're thinking about buying or selling, you got to start somewhere. And a lot of our buyers have a home to sell, whether we're relocating 2 great families out of town or you're staying local. If you're staying local, you need to know your home's value. You may see some of our advertisements that are out there, but I encourage you to start with your property valuation. And we've got an easy, free, no obligation. All you have to do is text us. Yes, our real team will get back with you, and we'll give you your home's value right away. No gimmicks, no sales pitches, but we'll give you real numbers to start. And then that way, when you're ready to start, or maybe you say, hey, Ryan, give me some ideas of some things we need to do. We can do that as well. But it will give you an idea of where to start real numbers. The market has kind of shifted all over in 2023. One of the agents I was sending a referral out to Atlanta the other day, and I was chatting with her, and I said, how's your market? And we're kind of chatting back and forth. And she says, it's wild. And she says, I've been doing it 20 some years as well, Ryan. And she said, I've never seen a market like this. I said, yeah, there's a lot of news in the market and there's a lot of nervousness, right? And there's a lot of things going on. That kind of leads to an unstable real estate market. But just remember, we're here to help you. We've been there and done that. And so let me give you the number before I start rambling here. But let me give you my number. And it's a text number, 24/7, okay? Easy number. Get a pen. Text us at 865-290-2290. I'll repeat, 865-290-2290. Just text that number at your convenience. Let us know your property, a little bit of information, and we're going to shoot you back a real value in today's market by our team, some of the best in the area. That way, if you're thinking about selling the rest in the second half of the year, you know exactly where to start and kind of start that process, especially if you're moving out of state. All right, into the show we go. Appreciate you guys so much. Let's go into our great friends. We had some good friends in referral, and they were selling their mother's home. And one of the things that we had was a manufactured property, and they're always tricky. You know, a lot of lenders don't really want to lend on manufactured housing. There's a combination of reasons. Won't get into all that, but it's an affordable product. It was in a price range in Lenoir City. That's a really good price, good floor plan, had a detached garage. And, I said it was in really good shape. It was her mother's home. So it was a tough situation they're going through. But with manufactured housing, there's a lot of things you need to know. Number one is permanent foundation, year built. Some of the things that you want to make sure you check out. Anything built prior to, after June 76, prior to that, a lot of lenders won't loan on them, okay? And a lot of things that when you go to do something called title work, that's on every deal, right? We encourage you to get your title run on every closing. They'll do something whether the property is labeled personal property or it's a fixed. Fixed means they just kind of made it real estate, so you can't move it or have any possibility of moving it. Lenders like that. Our law firm takes care of that all the time. We do these properties all the time that we close on. And so those are things that you want to do is if you own a property, if you could detach it, make sure, number two, if you have a title. Title is kind of like your car title, but it would be a mobile home title. A lot of times lenders or title companies will want you to have one. We just sold one over on Sticky Creek. Got a beautiful home, custom built home, but it has an old mobile home at the end. Family members living there. It's on a large amount of acreage. Luckily, our owner has the title so that we can make sure that that goes to closing and no issues of that. We talked about foundations. I want to make sure that most of these deals you have a foundation inspection, and a lot of times make sure that those pillars that underneath and do the support, they have to be cured together. And if you don't do that, a lot of times last minute, you'll have some issues. Make sure you stay with us. We're talking about more things you need to know if you're selling your home in the Knoxville market.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at Real Estate with Ryan. Got a good show for you. We're talking about if you're selling your home in Knoxville, these are things you must know if you're going to close out the year with a successful sale. That's the goal. We want a successful sale. You know, before we get going into this, I want to make sure we do a Vol update, 60 second. And, it's that time, Vol Nation. 60-second update. Drum roll, please. All right, we got Tennessee. Omaha, baby. Omaha College World Series. If you haven't had a chance to watch the Vols men's team this year, wow, tremendous. I was watching that. We got some rain delays, and before you know it, I didn't get a chance to catch the last game, but I missed a doozy. Glad to see them this weekend starting a College World Series. Everybody be rooting on for the Vols. We got our men's basketball program going overseas to Europe, August 4th through the 7th, I believe, over in Italy. And they're doing a little exhibition over there. Salute to our Vols. Congrats to our lady volunteers, right? Softball team had an amazing run this year and so much going on. And make sure you watch out for what we have coming right around the corner. Football season is minutes away, and we've got some exciting stuff. And that is your 60-second Vol update. Quickly, Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. So I was just telling Nick, I said, we got so much going on. Summer starts with summer. Here it's fall. Before you know it, it's football season. And it's just the busiest time for us. Most people say, well, hey, it's fall. We slow down. Just this doesn't happen here in East Tennessee. You know, it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's a great time to be fall, football season. The energy is exciting. And, of course, fall goes all the way to basketball season, and we just started all around. So it's great to be a Vol, guys. Go Vols. Okay. All right. So Nick wanted to make sure, look, hey, okay. Before we forget this important sale, we want to talk about marketing. I say in today's market, you can't afford to not have the right marketing. Market shifting. Got off the phone with an attorney just a little while ago. He's not seeing the same sales that he saw. Seeing a little bit of price adjustments. Everybody saw it. Sellers are getting all nervous on edge. Buyers are pulling back, or buyers are coming in and be a little bit over demanding. The market is shifting. Why? News media is shifting. Anytime you have a lot of drama in the news media, I won't get into what's in the media, but you can just see it. The environment's there. And so when those things come involved, it is time to get an expert in your corner. We say whether you're buying or selling, we're talking about this show today. It's one of the most important things you can do. Got a call last week. Great client. Listed with a large firm in town. And didn't get the job done for whatever reason, right? Had an opportunity to give us a chance, right? That's all we want, man. Just give us a shot, man. And we had an opportunity to meet them, talk to them, and put our marketing plan together. And we just put a sign in the yard and hope it's sold. We executed it. And we brought it from not only out-of-state buyers, but local buyers. Got energy onto it. We changed the marketing 100%. So 6 months with a local firm, we sold it in 2 weeks in record time. Clients could not be happier with what we do. Why am I bragging on our team? Because in the market that's transitioning, what used to happen 2 years ago when the market was selling in spite of itself, you're seeing that's not happening. In today's market, you've got to hire a team that's got your back. We've got your back. Got to has a plan that's going to execute, not just put a sign in the yard, throw it on Facebook and hope it sells. You've got to have a plan to reach buyers across the country and to kind of get demand. I always tell everybody, look, it's kind of like those auction properties. You know, as a buyer and investor, we own property. Love going to the auctions, kind of get in there and they start bidding it up, but they always start at a certain price. But one thing the auctions do, and you all have even been there to look at them, auctions drive traffic to the home and they get excitement. And I think there's no difference in the resale market, whether you're selling some of our property that's in excess of $2 million or you're selling $500,000. The more people that we have coming to the door, the more people that we have excitement online, the more people that we're engaging, right? More walkthrough tours and things that we're doing. What does it do? It gets you more money, sells in less time. It makes happy sellers. You know, we have happy sellers, then we have happy clients for life. And then, of course, if we're selling, we have an opportunity to make our move, which is the hardest thing that we do. We're doing that probably 5 times this week, in that they're selling and relocating somewhere out, moving out of state. And it's a very stressful deal. You know, they say buying or selling a home is one of the most stressful things that you can ever do. But don't worry, you won't do it alone. And that's why we do this show every week. We do it here so you can kind of get an idea. We encourage you to interview agents. Make sure you give us an opportunity. We always love to earn your business. 2234 Hickory Crest Lane in Hardin Valley now is pending. And that was a great success story. And we appreciate the opportunity. So I didn't want to leave y'all out in the first segment, but hey, say the best for last there. Good opportunity. Let's talk about it on our show. We're talking about things that you must do. We're selling this property, talking about a manufactured property. This was their parents' homes. It was in a state, tough situation the seller's going through. We talked about foundations. We talked about the age, the year. One of the most important things that I think I want to go give away and we'll move on is most people that realize that there's something called a data plate. And a data plate is in the cabinets, electrical panel. There's a couple places. Well, these things are put on back in the day. Basically what this data plate is, it shows the wind, you know, of certain dimensions that covers for the shingles, the year it was built, the model, the serial number, and it's a sticker that goes on. Well, guess what? Lender says last minute, won't name the lender, says, hey, Ryan, by the way, 2 days from closing, I need a data plate. We're like, yeah, data plate. And of course, it's gone. So we have to reorder it. So there is a system out there that if you're home, if you put it in on the market, you know, if you call us, the easiest answer, let us come out to the property. That's what we walk through the property for. So we can cover all these items, not 2 days before closing. But, you know, hey, things happen. And this one was actually peeled off. And so we had to order it. We have a site and we can give you access to it. And you can order them overnight or can take a couple days. We're able to save the closing, get the data plate, reissue it, and everybody is happy. But these are things to think about when selling a manufactured property. It's never easy, and there's always some hurdles. Get somebody that can absolutely help you walk you from start to finish. But make sure you check the data plates. Make sure you have that sticker. And if it's peeled off, there is a process. Feel free to reach out to me if we can help you any way to get that as well. Selling vacant land is never easy. You want to talk about land? You get a lot of opportunities with land. I think the number one thing comes down to pricing, but more importantly, it's marketing. You know, we have more people across the country that are relocating to this area, some large tracts of lands that we sold that are looking for that homestead, looking for that privacy. We just sold one recently, large tract of land, and that is exactly, we have people bidding on it because that's what you're looking for. So understand that land does not move as quickly. If you have an opportunity for a soil or septic, make sure you do some soil mapping. Those are great opportunities. Talk to your neighbors. Make sure those opportunities there, that if there's any covenants or restrictions, and then understand patience. You know, I had a guy, we just listed a lot in West Knoxville, and I mean, literally it's about to hit the press, and he said, hey, Ryan, I need a buyer tomorrow. And just understand that sometimes the lots do not move as quickly right, as single family. Okay. Condos are no different. Condo market is a little bit different. The condo market is great. And you need an expert that understands and specializes in the condo market. Part of selling a condo is knowing exactly the pricing and then making sure you know the market. We're not too low. So in anywhere, you want to maximize your home's value. Regus was one of the great developments that we just sold not long ago. We closed out that whole development, I think 37, 40 units, something like that. And about that is marketing, right? Having an expert that knows condos, that knows there's certain covenants and restrictions, and there's certain financing that you must know as well. Certain things on condos is making sure you're staging your condo right? Freestanding homes are a little bit different. Make it stand out, okay? Obviously, declutter. Make sure that all your kitchens and your baths and everything is up to par. Clean the grout. Those are big deals. And those are things that buyers notice. Sometimes staging gives you an opportunity that when buyers look at it online, we know that 87% starts online. And so having that presentation online and exterior photos accompanied by a nice property video tour. And of course, we use state-of-the-art technology where you don't even have to go to the property. We can set you up and you can view it from the comfort of your own home. We'll talk to you about that and so much more. But that's what you need to do when you're selling a condo, and some different tips. Now, luxury property is no different. Comes down to staging. That's very big. But the most important thing about luxury property, know that there's limited buyers. Okay. Doing an open house on a weekend, we see those all the time, is not your number one marketing strategy. Facebook, putting it on the MLS is great, but we have to kind of understand that marketing is kind of like our brand. You have to develop a brand, work for the amenities and features, sell those things. And sometimes a lot of antiques, different things that come with the property. Look at those opportunities for when you're marketing your property. As always, it always goes quicker than we can expect. Appreciate your time here with us at Real Estate with Ryan. Hope to see you next weekend. Enjoy your weekend and go Vols.